On today's show, I'm going to share with you a tactic you can use if you're an underdog side. It's not going to win you the title, but it's going to be a tactic that you can use against big sides if you're trying to escape with a point or even an away win. My name is Daljit. Welcome to the show. I haven't been doing a lot of tactics videos in the last couple of months, but if those are the kind of videos that you want to see on the channel, please let me know. I've decided to do a series on Underdog Tactics. The goal here is to create tactics and at least explain the logic behind these systems. And I'm going to try and do them for as many formations as possible so they could fit different kinds of teams and different kinds of needs. One of my favorite formations is actually the 4-1-3-2. The 4-1-3-2 is pretty solid in terms of being a counter-attacking formation. I've used it many times in previous saves, and in order for me to test this out, I actually tested it out with two teams. I first tried it with Napoli, put them into a very unique situation where they had to play quite a lot of teams in a competitive environment. I took the same tactic, gave it to Norwich, and I ran a simulated season twice. Both times they escaped relegation. One of those times when they escaped relegation, they also had the second best goal scorer in the Premier League. So what is this tactic all about? It's meant to be a simple 4-1-3-2. It's played with a mid-block, standard line of engagement, standard defensive line. I'll explain the TIs very soon. It's got counter press, counter, and the most important thing here is the focus play to the middle. We're playing fairly wide on an extremely high tempo. We hit early crosses. The thing here is the way these instructions work together with some of the roles. We've got fullbacks instead of wingbacks. We've got a central midfielder on support and a box-to-box midfielder on support. In this really important position here, the attacking playmaker on attack, because he sits in the perfect location for a quick transition if play breaks down in midfield. What I really like about the system is we've got focus play, we've got fullbacks instead of using wingbacks. Whenever we use fullbacks, what they try to do is look for passes inside. Along with the focus play, we're able to put quite a lot of pressure on sides centrally, and this creates all kinds of defensive situations where either our attacking playmaker on attack comes in late to score a goal, or our strikers come in and they take advantage of runs and they get behind defensive lines. Fullbacks are making it very, very effective, and I like this formation and I like the way it plays. So yeah, we used it with Napoli, big deal. What if we give it to Norwich? If you start the game as Norwich, chances are you're fighting against relegation, and you've got a squad that pretty much is weaker than most of the other teams in the league, and the media doesn't expect much from you. So I simulated it for an entire season. Timo Pukki ended up being the top scorer, joint top scorer in the league on 23 goals, which is kind of interesting. Whenever we create tactics, we're thinking to ourselves, we have to have a slightly different version for the teams that we should be beating, and maybe a bit more defensive for the teams that are, stronger than us. In the case of Norwich, they just need one tactic, right? Because everybody's supposed to be able to beat them. Everton, they managed to beat them 4-3. They beat Crystal Palace away 3-0. And this is the big result against Manchester United. Now, when I did a deeper dive into the players that the Assman was choosing, there were a lot of matches where he went with Milo Rashica. Now, I probably wouldn't start with Milo Rashica. He just doesn't fit my mold as the perfect advanced forward. And then when I'm looking at the central midfield, again, this composition is not something I would go for. So based on just what the Assman did, I think as a human manager, you probably can come up with some better options in midfield. One of the simple hallmarks of this system is the way we set the fullback up. When I created this tactic, I don't want the fullback to simply dribble down the flanks. If he's got a chance, if you look very closely, you've got players already attacking the line. So what I wanted the fullback to do, become a weapon from deep. So he would be able to launch these kind of passes into the space. If you look at the defense, the way it's set up, we've got players pulling them out of position. So Max Aarons brings the ball up, and this is the perfect time for him to play a pass. And he does exactly that at this point in time. He just triggers a great pass. We've got an advanced forward attacking this space. The fullback is trying his best to come back in. The two defenders are already occupied with one advanced forward and the other, the attacking playmaker, He's pushing up here and he's already pulling one of the defenders away. So this creates the perfect pocket for the advance forward to attack. It's a central part of this tactic. Yeah, maybe we might say it's a ball over the top, but let's be realistic. Most sides that are weak, they don't have the luxury of working the ball up patiently, probing a defense, trying to score a goal. Now, when the defender gets the ball, if we are controlling the ball in this phase of the play, if I lose the ball here, I have the numbers to counter press because my players are going to try and win the ball back quickly. This will draw not only my players slightly higher up the pitch, but the opposition players to me, creating even more space for my two strikers. So I don't really mind counter pressing in this setup. Here we go. Our attacking playmaker looks for a chance to play one over the top. I've chosen the attacking playmaker instead of the DLP because I think the attacking playmaker is perfectly positioned for those transitional attacks for a 4-1-3-2. He plays one over the top, Pukki gets behind the line and then slots home a goal against Chelsea. I just want to share with you certain ideas that you can probably import into your own saves and you can customize them to your own delight. Because the goal here is to share with you the vision and how I articulated it through the use of roles and duties. That's next. Let's start with the team instructions. Now the team instructions are fairly simple. I'm playing with a mid block. I want to win the ball in transition in midfield. And I'm also using trigger press right in the middle. I don't know what we want to call this, set according to the team mentality. I don't really care. In fact, there are some defensive tactics that I have where the pressing is even less than this. But for this tactic, it's fine. This is important, forcing the opposition inside. We have a numerical advantage in this area of the pitch. We actually have 3 central midfielders. It makes a lot of sense not to allow the opposition down the flanks. What I want to do is force the opposition, funnel them into this central area of the pitch where we are numerically strong. And what I've also done is I've gone reasonably wide. I don't want to congest the center of the pitch too much by becoming too narrow. Then there's too many players in too close proximity that can create issues. Then when I'm looking at in transition, we want to counter press, regroup and counter. It makes a lot of sense because I've got these players in the center of the park. The DM is going to be around to help the 2 defenders out. I just want these 3 to try to win the ball quickly in transition, especially if you just lost the ball. I want to hit one over the top for these 2 advanced forwards. And we've got counter distributing to the fullbacks. There is no play out of defense. I don't like play out of defense, especially if I'm playing a mid block. I do not want to draw too much pressure on ourselves, especially if we're not the stronger team. Then the tempo is extremely high. I want the players to make the decisions quickly. I don't want them to waste too much time on the ball. I don't want them to hang around, wonder whether this is a good pass or a bad pass. No, play the ball quickly. This is important. Hit early cross. If I play the hit early cross instruction, even the fullbacks might be playing these early crosses from high up the pitch, something that these 2 advanced forwards can leverage off. I want this system to be relatively simple. I've got focus play to the middle because I want there to be more support whenever I drive through the middle with my players. I've got an AP here who's going to be generating a lot of attacks. I'm expecting a lot of assists to come from the fullbacks, the AP, and even between the 2 strikers. As far as PIs are concerned, we've got tackle harder on the 2 advanced forwards and on the 2 wide central midfielders. The box-to-box midfielder has been told to dribble less and shoot less often. The central midfielder on the right flank has also been told to shoot less often and tackle harder. The AP has been told to close down more. The DM has been told to take fewer risks because I don't need him playing longer passes. I just need him to link up play. Now, if you have a DM who's got play short, simple passes, he can be a perfect player for this position. In fact, you don't need players either side of the AP to have those kind of killer ball traits. Play short, simple passes are fine. And down on the flanks, we've got a fullback. Now, the fullbacks have been given quite a few PIs. They've been told to take more risks, dribble less, shoot less often, sit narrow, and mark tight. The sit narrow instruction is something I've applied to both the fullbacks because I want them to tuck inside when we don't have the ball. I generally want the central midfielders in the wider positions to do the early pressing. The fullbacks are going to tuck inside. I don't want them to losing their position. And when they do get the ball and bring it up the pitch, they're going to look inside for the initial pass. And occasionally, this take more risks might encourage them to play a longer pass, maybe one that seeks out the advanced forwards. As far as the 2 central defenders are concerned, they have got no PIs. Similarly, the goalkeeper. This isn't a tactic that is going to win you titles. I've often found myself in situations where I'm the underdog and I'm looking to play a simple system, ball over the top to two strikers who go on to score goals. Now, there are going to be a few underdog tactics that I plan to release in the next couple of weeks. This is just one of them, which uses two strikers. There's one more that actually uses three. Now, if you have any questions or if you want me to continue the series, please let me know in the comments below the kind of tactics you want me to cover. Once again, I want to thank you for your support. You've been fantastic. I also stream 3 times a week, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays over on another channel called BTN Live. On Wednesdays, you can bring in your tactics and we'll give it a go. If you need any help, you can ask me then. So you guys, thanks for your support. Stay safe and I'll catch up with you soon. Bye-bye.